appreciate these criminal people. You will appreciate when they bomb here and there. You will appreciate when they kill thousands of people. You will rejoice. And eventually you will also become one of the criminals, because you are worshipping the criminals. You are appreciating them. They are your goal. If you start worshipping the saints, enlightened ones, then you too become one of the enlightened ones. That is why when we pay respect to the Buddha, we respect out of gratitude for showing us the path for the freedom. He is the one who showed us the path to get rid of this mess of suffering, to achieve perfect enlightenment by eradicating all the defilement. So as sons and daughters, those people who know the gratitude, we prostrate in front of him and we paid respect, we worship, we are not praying. Then on the other hand, some people may ask, Buddhist worships include not only bow down, but also we make offerings, we recite, we chant, we practice meditation, we share the merits, we make the aspirations. Why do we do all these things? What is the meaning behind these actions? Are these simply rites and rituals which were introduced out of blind faith? Or these simple practices are having religious, psychological and spiritual values? Friends, all these actions are having psychological, spiritual values for your development step by step, to develop your confidence, saddha, and finally reaching to the final goal of Nibbana. This is the starting point. So let us see, when we make the offerings, what do we expect? We make a lot of offerings, but standard offerings are lamps or lights, flowers, and incense. These three are the standard offerings. In any Buddhist schools, we will recognize these three. Other than that, depending on your culture, there may be many other offerings, but it's alright if you do it with right understanding. When a Buddhist offer lights, what does he do? He prepared a lamp mindfully. The moment that he steps into the temple, that moment onward, cultivate mindfulness. When you prepare the oil lamp, when you wash the glass, when you pour oil, all this process, he maintains perfect mindfulness. It's a form of meditation. Then the light destroys the darkness. This oil lamp, this light destroys the darkness. In our mind too, we have the darkness, which is known as delusion, ignorance, avijja. And we are looking for the light of wisdom, light of enlightenment. When we offer this lamp to the Buddha, Buddha is the supremely enlightened light. When the Buddha arises in the world, he is the one who showed the path for the enlightenment for the deluded world. He is the light in the deluded world. He is the light in the dark. So when you offer this lamp to the Buddha, you offer it as a mark of respect and you make a wish. One day, may I too become a light. May I become a light which illuminate the world. May I become the light which can be used to light up many thousands of lamps and illuminate the world with wisdom. So make the aspirations. You are aspiring to become enlightened one, and this is the symbol of enlightenment. You are doing a psychological practice. Psychologically, you are practicing to become enlightened. When you offer flowers, again it reminds you one of the deep doctrine of the Buddha, anicca, impermanent nature of the existence. of the basic and most profound teachings of the Buddha is anicca. Without anicca, there is nothing. There's no Buddhism. So anicca is one of the basic and most important concept in the Buddhism. When you offer flowers, what do you think? These flowers are beautiful, fragrance, attracts my mind, attracts my eyes, attracts my nose. I like these flowers so much. Many people like the flowers. But what happens? The moment that you offer, after a few hours, these flowers will fade away. It gives the deep understanding for a Buddhist to contemplate on the impermanent nature of this body and mind and the universe. Whatever I hear through my ear is changing, just like this flower. Whatever the sweet smell that I receive through my nose is changing like the sweet smell of this flower. Whatever the beautiful figures, pictures, forms I see through my eyes are subject to change. Whatever I come across through my eye, ear, nose, tongue and body, sight, sound, smells and tangible objects and all these other external stimuli, all these are subject to change. So nothing is permanent. It gives the deep understanding for a Buddhist about anicca, the doctrine of anicca. So when a Buddhist offers flowers, it's not a ritual. It's a psychological practice based on the right understanding, based on the wisdom. And that person is cultivating the purity of the mind, the deep understanding about the anicca. Again, when a Buddhist offers incense, what does it mean? The incense, a very fragrance mixed with air and it reaches everywhere. If there is a criminal person, if there is a virtuous person, if there is a human being or non-human being or whoever, as long as that person can receive this smell, this fragrance doesn't mind to reach to a criminal or a virtuous or anybody. Perfect. The supremely enlightened Buddha who had great compassion too, great virtuous qualities are the same. It doesn't make any difference between a criminal or any other person. Out of great compassion, he reached to all the people. And this fragrance are the symbol of great virtuous qualities. When you offer incense, you are paying tribute, respect to the great qualities of the Buddha and you are aspiring. May I too cultivate these great qualities of